Be hard in a way. I couldn't say one bad word about the Waterford guys. Let's be honest, there's no main agendas there, and I'm not going to start spoofing about it because no point saying their favourites or we're favourites because I'd have a lot of time from. We've got a match to play. Any sentiment I have goes out the door, and that the lads will have, that goes out the door down there. So we just go out and we see what happens. There's no point messing about this one. We'll go out and we play Waterford, and whatever happens, happens.
And that is the sport for now. Charge of Clare, and of course it's Waterford first up. How much is that a factor?
It's no factor really. I'm Clare manager. I have a job to do with Clare, and that's it. I had a few good years at Waterford, and that was great. But now it's a different story.
Of course, it works both ways. They know you too.
Yeah, it's only a lot of rubbish. Being honest about it, whatever happens there in the day will happen, and that'll be it. You know, it's 15 against 15, and that's all you can do outside there.
You've made a late change. Podge Collins in for his older brother.
Yeah, Podge is starting with Sean. Unfortunately, failed the fitness test this morning, hamstring injury. So Podge is getting a start. So hopefully it'll go well.
You come into this on the back of a very good league campaign, and must be confidence in your young side.
Yeah, we've had a good. Our objective this year was to get out of Division 1B, and we achieved that. And hopefully this will be a bonus. We're playing against a very good side. Like 90% of these guys have been in 6 semi-finals in a row, so they have. I was involved in 4 of them with them, you know, so they know their way around the place and that, and they survived in a very difficult 1B, so it's going to be a tough game. We're probably big-time underdogs, but we'll give it a blast anyway and see what happens. The lads are young and they'll go out there and just let go and see what happens.
Michael, I suppose Waterford had a bit of a rocky league campaign, but steadied towards the end. How have things been since?
Absolutely. I mean, we got off to a bad start in the league, there's no doubt about that. But we got a few fellas back and we steadied the ship, and we ended up with 2 very, very good wins against Galway and Dublin. So we prepared very well for the last 7 or 8 weeks in particular, and we're really looking forward to the Munster Championship.
You've got a lot of experienced guys in your lineup, John Milan, Owen Kelly, Brick Walsh.
Yeah, we have, and we have a nice blend of youth and experience. We have 9 or 10 fellas who've played in 1 Munster Championships, and we have 4 or 5 fellas making their debut. So the trick is, I suppose, to gel it all together and really perform on the day. What we are looking for today is a top-class performance from every one of our guys. That's what it's going to take to win, and we think we're well capable of doing that.
There's a lot of talk, of course, about the Davy Fitzgerald factor. Will it matter at all?
I don't think so. I mean, everybody says that Davy Fitz knows Waterford very well. The Waterford players know Davy. I don't think there's any. I don't think it'll make any difference whatsoever.
Yeah, Claire McNamara was saying there, Cyril, that the experiences in the Waterford side, and Davy Fitz was pointed that out. They know their way around here. They've been here. They have done it here. Looking at the names in that team, one of them you've picked out, Stephen Malumphey, was at midfield.
Yeah, he's dangerous at that.
Their team is a late replacement for his older brother Sean, who has a hamstring injury. Pa Kelly is another championship newcomer in goal for Clare today. It's a young side. The average age is only 24. Waterford play in the championship without Tony Brown starting for the first time in 8 years. There are 4 new players to championship action in their 15. Goalkeeper Stephen O'Keefe, backs Stephen Daniels and Philip Mahoney, and corner forward Gavin O'Brien.
Changes, all nearly in different positions.
And Philip Mahoney is out at midfield. Kevin Moran gone in, and Philip Mahoney's broken the stick already. It's Patrick Donlan, the Clare captain, who throws it back to James McInerney, back in the team. He missed the league semi-final defeat to Kilkenny because of a broken hand. Stephen Daniels on his championship debut trying to pick that. Richie Foley is there as well. Stephen Malumphey, last year's captain, belts back forward, and Milan is out in front of his man. And listen to the buzz around Thurles as he gets out in front. Boris Shanahan trying to get involved too, and James McInerney trying to pick it and foul. The Clare team, on average, they say they've put on a stone a man in terms of muscle bulk. They trained, well, every day from the 1st of January, and then I think they trained 31 out of 34 nights in that period from New Year's Day. Flying fit.
Yeah, and they're just back to the forward line again. They're I think gone in full forward. John Conlon centre, and Podge Collins got into the right corner.
Now that's Colin Ryan chasing this down. Good stick work helps him to keep the ball in play. Conor McGrath pulling back onto the 20-metre line. Here is McGrath. He's got a yard or 2 and more from his man. McGrath with the first chance of this Munster semi-final, and Clare open their account. A bright start for Clare. McInerney's free into the corner. Ryan the provider, and McGrath at the finish.
Yeah, they played most of the league with these 2 men in the full forward line on their own. Colin Ryan, great ball across, and lovely sidestep by Conor McGrath over the bar. Great start.
McGrath was Clare's top scorer in the league. That campaign which saw them beat Limerick in the final. And then lose by 9 to Kilkenny. Is that thrown by Richie Foley? Referee James McGrath right on hand to give the free to Clare. Nicky O'Connell. Nicky O'Connell with the free. He fancies this, and why not? And it's been a really good start for Clare. Nicky O'Connell opens his account. 2 points to no score in the 3rd minute. Stephen O'Keefe, 2 newcomers to Championship Hurling in goal for the respective teams. Here's Milan. John Milan. Belted forward by Philip Mahoney, and Philip Mahoney likes that, and so do the Waterford followers here in Thurles. Very effective, as he normally is, John Milan, provider for Philip Mahoney.
Yeah, that's a great start for Philip Mahoney. You know, John Milan out in front, laid off the ball lovely, and this is his first game, and he couldn't ask for a better start in his championship debut.
Big puck out, and here come Clare with Enda Barrett. Now Jonathan Clancy, he was midfield last year, shortens the stick and takes the point. And Clare found that quite easy, right from the puck out. Huge distance on it from Pa Kelly. That's a huge puck as well from Stephen O'Keefe, the Waterford goalkeeper. Donal O'Donovan been put under real pressure by Shane Welsh, and Cian Dillon is across helping out, and Clare win a free. There'll be no holding back physically today. The build-up has been on the low-key side, but this will be...
Some of the league matches, but a great catch in the last score, and Conor Clancy, or Jonathan Clancy, great man to cover ground and onto the end of it for a great score.
Yeah, Barrett, the right half forward for Clare, as Michael says, his normal position wing back, but in that half forward line to try and win them some ball. Here's Brendan Bugler, he's an experienced man and a very decent hurler too. Now John Conlon, so hard to dispossess, and 2 Waterford men managed to do it. There's Kevin Moran, who clears for Waterford. They have promised a return to a more traditional Waterford style, is the way they describe it. Want to hurl off the cuff. Clare, we will see, taking great care over possession as they move up the field. There's Stephen Daniels belting that forward, and Cian Dillon under it for Clare. James McInerney caught in possession. They went short with the clearance, and it's Dillon who manages to clear it, but it'll come straight back at them. Enda Barrett trying to win it back for Clare. We've got Michael Brick Walsh now. Will we see a trademark hand pass? Yes, there we did, and it's backwards from Brick Walsh. Aidan Carney of Waterford has help from Stephen O'Keefe. That was well read by O'Keefe to get out and give his corner back a bit of an angle. That was up towards Owen Kelly, but it breaks for Kevin Moore on his own 65. Moran leaves Jonathan Clancy, who just got back in front of him. Shane Walsh drifting out towards the half-forward line. Walsh for Waterford, shortened the stick. He was just hooked a little, and Pa Kelly belts it clear for Clare. Kevin Moran put the hand up, unable to hang on to it. John Conlon is really making a nuisance of himself over there for Clare, and a free to Waterford. Conlon penalised.
Carried the ball into contact.
Waterford today bidding for 5 successive Munster final appearances. Clare, well, in the Munster Championship, they've won only 3 matches in the last 12 years. John Milan is in underneath that. Shane Welsh was there as well. Breaks kindly for Patrick Donnelly. Oldest starter at the age of 27. And that is a free for a foul. A free into Clare, a foul on Podge Collins. This is a score within his range. They lead by 3-1. No breeze in Thurles, and O'Connell has hit that beautifully, and over it sails, and they lead by 4 points to 1, and that indiscipline in the Waterford half-back line punished.
Yeah, and I think the puck-out strategy for Waterford is interesting. You know, they've picked Owen Kelly and Seamus Prendergast in the half-forward line to win ball, but they haven't been successful so far. Clare are winning every ball in the half-forward line.
Seamus Prendergast with Maurice Shanahan trying to get involved, but Waterford, their half-forward line, not getting much change out of the Clare half-backs, and that's a line Clare were concerned about. Patrick O'Connor. John Conlon loves to run with the ball, and he's got Brick Walsh on his shoulder, and he's been penalised, Conlon. So a boost for Waterford and for Brick Walsh. as Conlon fouled the ball.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit unlucky there, but that's the short game that Tomas was talking about beforehand. There was 3 passes there within about a 30-yard radius, and they had a chance to deliver the ball into the full forward line. But that's the style that they're trying to adapt, and they're trying to get on an extra man on the end of that at the runner, but it didn't work there.
Richie Foley with the free for Waterford. The sun in the eyes of the Clare backs, and that has just drifted wide. There seems to be a reaction from Owen Kelly of Waterford towards one of the Clare players.
Here, and I think it's Conor Cooney there. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot in it, but Owen Kelly's been out, really over the last couple of years under Davy Fitz. He's been struggling to make the Waterford team. He was off the panel for a while, and it's a big game for him today, and frustration maybe creeping in a little bit with him.
John Conlon again prominent as the ball sailed over Enda Barrett, his teammate's head. Richie Foley unable to pick, and then surrounded. Podge Collins, his championship debut, taking the place of his brother, and he's put that one wide, and that's Clare's first. Fabulous footballer as well, this guy is Podge Collins. And John Milan drifting way out. Brendan Bugler now picking him up as Milan moves out.
Struggling to win possession, and Clare really, without being overly impressive, are well on top.
Kevin Moran found a teammate, even though he didn't cut it particularly well. Now here's John Milan. Maybe he'll get a chance to run at them. He has it now, and he's Bugler behind him. Milan steadies down, shoots, scores, and that's what he's out in the half-forward line to do. Their second point, just 2 behind. Classic John Milan.
Yeah, great score there. Brendan Bugler's won the first few balls that came between him and Owen Kelly, and I was questioning Milan being out there, but he not for the first time has made me eat my words.
Conlon trying to get to that, but unable to do so. Stephen Malumphey was married recently. Owen Kelly in there, closest to goal, but Clare able to deal with it. Good clearance from Conor Cooney. Richie Foley making it very difficult for Enda Barrett, and a bit of a potential flashpoint. Barrett had the ball, then had to get rid of it. Stephen Daniels is out there as they swarm around. Now it's Patrick Donlan. Conor McGrath in a very deep position. They need him in closer to goal. Colin Ryan unable to do anything with that, and Brick Walsh has it for Waterford, and Liam Lawler able to clear. That's down towards Gavin O'Brien, a young 19-year-old in the Waterford full forward line. We expected him to drift around. Shooting opportunity for Shane Welch, which he's taken for Waterford. Clare had numbers there, but Waterford moved to within a point. Shane Welch with his first.
Yeah, I think just before that, Cian Dillon might have touched the ball on the ground, and ball broke out to Shane Welch, and nice point over the bar.
That hung in the air for quite a while. Barrett unable to get hands on it. Brick Walsh sweeping up behind. Podge Collins a little high, too high according to the referee.
Yeah, and just in the last few minutes, I think Brick Welch really coming into the game. His normal game, he was a little bit quiet in the first few minutes, but really the last 3 or 4 balls came down. He's won them, and Waterford playing more direct hurling, and it's paying off at the moment.
Richie Foley from Abbey's side. There was some holding in there, and is the referee going to give a penalty? Yes, he is. Waterford with a penalty. Cian Dillon roaring at the referee, but the referee had little doubt about it. Owen Kelly was being held in there, and Waterford with a penalty upcoming, and Cian Dillon in trouble with the referee and gets a yellow card for his challenge on Owen Kelly.
Yeah, I don't think the tackle was too malicious, but I'd say it was for maybe interfering with the helmet. We might get a look at it again.
Looks as if Kelly is going to take the penalty himself for Waterford.
Yeah, he has done over the years, scored a lot of them, and I think his physical presence on the edge of the square has been a factor in the last couple of minutes. He has a bit more size than Shane Welch.
One of the very experienced men in this Waterford team. Big moment coming up in this semi-final. Kelly drills it. Wonderful finish, and he celebrates with both arms in front of a huge number of Waterford followers. Waterford go into the lead for the first time thanks to Owen Kelly's penalty.
Yeah, he's done this many times over the years. An absolutely brilliant strike to the roof of the net. Won it himself and finished it, and that's going to give him great confidence. He's inside full forward now. Milan has gone back into the corner, and they're a threat inside around the goals.
Great take by Enda Barrett. They need the next score after conceding that penalty, but that has gone harmlessly wide, and that's why the penalty was awarded.
Oh, if you look at it again, Owen Kelly actually pulled Cian Dillon's helmet. Yeah. It was actually a free out before there was a foul in. Just the experience of Owen Kelly there, I think, you know, he caught it the ref.
He appeared to do it first. Here's John Milan. Speaking of experience, Brendan Bugler is there with him. Milan has got one already. The angle's so difficult for Milan, and so it proved as he's put it.
Going back to that penalty again, we saw there clearly Cian Dillon was fouled before he fouled Owen Kelly, so unlucky there, but great penalty nonetheless by Kelly, and Waterford in the last 5 minutes have completely taken over.
Well, a good passage in this match for Michael Ryan's team. Waterford have scored 1-2 without reply, but we can now see why Cian Dillon was shouting towards the referee,
and he got a yellow card as well.
Yeah, he did. Kevin Moran of Waterford. Shane Welsh just wants that to drift over, and Welsh somehow managed to get it. Some nerves in the Clare full back line. And James McInerney trying to bring some order to this. Again, everybody swarms in around. Patrick Donlan taking it clear for Clare. Wonderful run from Patrick Donlan. He's got help from John Conlon. Two Waterford men in front of him. Again, they go short. Patrick Donlan spotted a bit of a gap. There wasn't much of a gap there. Takes the responsibility on himself, and he's put that one wide.
Then I think in front of Conor McGrath, he'd loads of room in front of him there. You know, I think you can overcarrying the ball, especially early in the game, is not on. You're better off to let it off.
Maurice Shanahan did extremely well to win that for Waterford. He just slipped, and they've got a free in inside the Clare 65-metre line. And you can see Davy Fitz down on the line roaring at either the referee. Here's the penalty.
Yeah, if you watch Owen Kelly, he pulled Cian Dillon first of all, and then Dillon definitely put the arm across him then, and obviously James McGrath didn't see the first one. See it again here.
Oh,
his helmet was nearly pulled off Cian Dillon, and then he fouled Owen Kelly afterwards.
So Maurice Shanahan, we watched him in the warm-up practicing freeze. Owen Kelly can take him as well. They've no Pádraig Mahoney, who is out injured, was actually given number 30 when the team was announced, but that has gone over from Maurice Shanahan. He hoped it opens his account, and it's 1-3 without reply from Waterford in the last 6 minutes. So a goal between them. That Owen Kelly penalty decisive at the moment, and here goes Milan again. John Milan, Maurice Shanahan. Nice step inside. They want a big game from Maurice Shanahan today. Dan the man did it for years, and Maurice doing it already. 2 in a row for him, and this is a great spell for Waterford. 1-5-4.
That's a great score. At the moment, John Milan is everywhere. He caught that puck out. Really had no right to coming out from wing forward again. Caught the ball and carried it. Great layoff then to Maurice. If you watch Milan here, just right out at the middle of the field and straight away heads for goal. A great layoff then to Morrison over the bar.
Well, they were concerned about him at the start of the year because he took a bit of a break, and there were all sorts of stories that he was going to retire. 10 minutes almost since Clare last scored, but Milan, as you can see, flying fit and very fresh and enjoying himself in Thurles. That was a bad challenge on Enda Barrett of Clare. He's gone down clutching his head, and there's a yellow card. Aidan Carney. It's an awkward looking challenge.
It's fairly reckless, okay.
Here's why.
Yeah, very high. I'd say that was in Aidan Carney's mind when he came into that tackle.
Fergal Lynch pushed Enda Barrett hard for a place in the starting 15. There's Colin Ryan, and he just about put it over. That's their first score in 11 minutes. Seamus Prendergast was the target on that occasion. Clever Prendergast again. That's Cooney in front of him, and Prendergast, that's an absolute no. It's gone wide. I thought, like a lot of the Waterford followers, you could hear them, but most of them down around us here. Not the best place to look. The umpire best positioned, and that is wide number 3 for Waterford. Goal between them. Still. Stephen Malunphy lets it move very quickly. Shane Welsh in there after it. Dylan missed it. Goalkeeper quickly. Goal. Shane Welsh the mistake by Pa Kelly of Clare, but the referee has gone in. Well, no, the goal has been awarded. The flag waved by the umpire.
Yeah, long ball by Stephen Malumphey, and I said to you before the game there, Shane Welch, a very, very clever hurler. Just got a little flick on the ball, broke it inside, and you know, maybe Pa Kelly should have been out a bit quicker, but if you just watch that, great little flick by Welch, got down over the ball again, and that looks very simple, but you know, nice touches there by Shane Welch.
Stephen Daniels of Waterford enjoying his championship debut. They lead by 6, Waterford, and this a supreme test now of this young Clare team. Richie Foley didn't catch that particularly well. Keane Dillon just shoveling it away from goal. Referee gives Clare a free. Gavin O'Brien getting involved with Donal O'Donovan, and there's Conor Cooney. So the free given.
Yeah, in over the back there. And Gavin O'Brien, a lovely young hurler, but like a lot of lads, I think starting your first game, young player, very nervous so far, and you know, it takes a bit of a while, so they have to just persevere with him, and you know, he'll get a chance or two hopefully to settle himself down.
Aidan Carney, who has a yellow card against his name. Liam Lawler. Open road in front of Kevin Moran, and we know he loves to do this. Steadies down, belts it forward for Waterford. Shane Welch, the goal scorer, put the hand up, and Dillon had every right to go after that. Stephen Malumphey will cut this for Waterford. John Milan is just, anytime he gets near a player in possession, he wants the ball. Nicky O'Connell still trying to impose himself on this Waterford team. Seamus Prendergast, 32 years young. Malumphey back where he started from the sideline cut, and this could be interesting. Kelly is in, been marked by Donal O'Donovan, and tidy play from Pa Kelly. Not going to be hooped. Kelly manages to clear and now has to race back to his goal. Took a risk with that. Richie Foley put the hand up, couldn't get to it. Patrick O'Connor from Tubber in Clare. Loose pass. Clare looking a little shook. There's Enda Barrett. Now it's Maurice Shanahan. There was no gap there, but not bothered. 3 Clare men, 4 swarm around him and the ball. And look at John Conlon working hard to try and win the ball back for Clare. He's done just that. Conor McGrath, wonderful skill from McGrath, and he's got help from Jonathan Clancy. McGrath backs himself, shoots and scores. That's a wonderful score, and even for his pick alone, he deserved a point out of it.
Yeah, great score there, Dara. And this is why I can't understand why they're not feeding the ball faster into Conor McGrath. He's great skill, beautiful pick up there, and lovely turn, and made it look very, very simple.
Makes the deficit a little more manageable. Philip Mahoney under the cosh, but now it's James McInerney of Clare. Drilled forward, and it's McGrath who swapped hands, and now he's managed to get away from Aidan Carney. Carney back at him strongly, and that's a big moment for Carney. They fence with it a little bit. John Conlon, goal opportunity here. Conlon, wonderful shot. John Conlon absolutely buried that. The real goal-scoring chance in the Clare, or goal-scoring threat in the Clare full forward line, and Conlon buried this.
Yeah, great ball across the field, and I think Conlon was in 2 minds, man inside, but he made up his mind and buried it into the net. And I think Waterford will be very disappointed. Aidan Carney, you know, had that ball to take maybe a little nudge on the back, and they should have really cleared it, and now that brings Clare right back into it.
Maurice Shanahan, he's having a good game. McInerney was dragging out of him a little. Shanahan taking too much out of that, but he's drawn the foul. And Patrick Donlan.
Moved by Waterford.
Maurice Shanahan for Waterford. That's nice. He's having a big game.
He is, Dara. Again, I think, you know, he's running with the ball a little bit. I think, you know, better off maybe to let it in the full forward line. Look dangerous to have Clare on the back foot. They've scored a couple of goals, so I'd be keeping the ball long and in there as fast as you can get it in.
Richie Foley left that after him. John Conlon steadies down. No, he hasn't caught that one at all well. So that. Stephen O'Keefe keeping that one a little lower. Seamus Prendergast couldn't control it, but he's got it now for Waterford. Lets it move out to Maurice Shanahan. There's a free man inside. Shanahan has spotted him. Kelly is looking for it. Here's Gavin O'Brien. Wonderful stop Great stop by Pat Kelly in the Clare goal. Gavin O'Brien has worked hard to try and get into this game. Made good contact, but a wonderful save from Pat Kelly.
Yeah, key moment. I think sometimes, you know, I mentioned Gavin O'Brien, inexperienced, and he got the chance, but really it was the wrong option. Owen Kelly was completely free. And you can't blame him for having a shot, but if you just to the left of the picture, Owen Kelly was completely free. If you flicked it over to a certain goal, and great save by Pat Kelly nonetheless.
It was brilliant movement from Owen Kelly just to the left of O'Brien to drift away from his marker.
Free possession, but the ball, they do look a little bit suspect when the ball goes in around the full back line.
Stephen O'Keefe came out to take the free and kind of scuttled it forward. Shane Welsh took his eye off it. Waterford were one of their goal scorers, but he's got it back. And Clare, a couple of times have had opportunities to clear the ball as it's gone loose and not able to take them. Philip Mahoney on his knees. Here's John Milan. Clever ball. Kevin Moran is free for Gavin O'Brien, and O'Brien, having missed the goal opportunity, has opened his championship account, and he's starting to get to grips with this game and his Clare opponents. He's been marked by Donal O'Donovan and just drifted out.
Yeah, lovely first touch there, but Kevin Moran, you know, made the run, created the space for him, gave him a good decoy there, and he turned and put it over. He looks a really good hurler and got to settle him down.
2-7 to 1-6, Waterford leading. And Clare under pressure again. That was for Gavin O'Brien, but Donal O'Donovan quite happy to take it. A good corner back play. You see some more now from Aidan Carney, almost operating as left half back. He's got Podge Collins in tow, and that's a Clare line ball. Nicky O'Connell cutting that, and Conor McGrath now been marked by Stephen Daniels, for once left the ball after him. Gavin O'Brien standing still with O'Donovan behind him, and it always favoured the cornerback, and O'Donovan loves to get out in front and loves to attack whenever the opportunity presents itself. Not such a great ball forward. The Waterford players wanted a free, and the referee standing in front of the referee. Podge Collins there now with Aidan Carney. Stephen Malumphey trying to drive out for Waterford, just get it away from goal. He's given it straight though to Nicky O'Connell. O'Connell for Clare, and that's a big point. Wonderful score from Nicky O'Connell from Clonlara. Goal between them again.
Yeah, Stephen Malumphey won possession, but he was surrounded and had to kick it out, and Nicky O'Connell, very neat, picked it up, and very good score.
Shane Wells put the hand up, couldn't collect it. Stephen Malumphey can. Dragged back, almost rugby tackled by Patrick Donnellan, free in, and Maurice Shanahan time again.
Yeah, and I think the rotation of the Waterford forwards is confusing the Clare backs a bit. Now, they don't know who they're on a lot of the time. There's Malumphey now. He's been onto a lot of breaking ball, but Maurice Shanahan's really the only one who's stayed in his position. The rest of them are moving around. Milan in particular is going from the corner to the wing. Maurice O'Brien is out. Seamus Prendergast is in and out, and so is Owen Kelly. So it's creating a lot of confusion, and it's difficult for a back. You don't know whether to stay in position or stay after your man.
Maurice Shanahan from Lismore to extend their lead. No, bad wide.
Hit it wide, bad wide.
And the Barrett travelling to try and get to this. It's an easy catch in the end from Philip Mahoney. Clare not putting any pressure on. He can go right or left or just keep going straight, which he's doing. Barrett is there with him. Delayed too long. Some inexperience from Philip Mahoney on his first day out in the Munster Championship. Had players in better positions, held on to it too long. Liam Lawler racing back for Waterford. Clever little flick up to Stephen Daniels, who's done well on his first day out in the Munster Championship. Malumphey almost seems to do well. John Milan under this on the Clare 45-metre line. Breaks well though for James McInerney. See him wearing the glove. He broke his hand and missed the league semi-final. McInerney knows where the posts are when he gets in these sort of areas, but his shooting has let him down. That is wide number 5 for Clare.
You put the commentator's curse on him again, Dara.
Yeah, didn't I? Whoops.
But he has been out for a while injured, but he's a very good centre back, and you expect him to come more into the game. But he's his back turned here now.
Last 5 minutes of the first half. McInerney ended up on the ground. Here's Seamus Prendergast for Waterford. No pressure on him. He has to score and does score. Well, what happened to James McInerney as the ball was coming towards him and Prendergast?
Well, he wasn't facing it. He was running back, having had the shot, and he was running back towards his own goals. He wasn't facing the ball. The first thing you teach a young lad is always keep your eye on the ball, and good catch by Seamus Prendergast and a nice score.
Ball back in play already. Stephen Daniels. Keane Dillon under pressure, made space for himself well. Brendan Bugler. There's the short passing. Patrick Donnellan delaying. And that's gone out off Conor McGrath. I'm told they had a pretty intense training weekend at Fota Island in Cork. They put in something like 7 intense sessions over the weekend period. Brought them on quite a lot, but they stayed in Division 1A after wins over Galway and Dublin, having lost their first 3. Conor McGrath trying to get to that. Daniels and Carney there too. Richie Foley, it's a bit of a mess. It's kind of Keystone Cup stuff. But anyway, the referee has had enough of that. He's going to throw the ball in. After a couple of high-profile resignations. John Conlon. Such a big man, very hard to contain. Here's Conor McGrath. McGrath, 3 Waterford men around him, and they all part. And McGrath is very pacey, but he took too much out of that. Jonathan Clancy putting the ball wide, but the referee's whistle sounded as Clancy held onto it too long, or Conor McGrath indeed held onto it too long.
Yeah, good discipline defence. You see Brick Welch here. He didn't lunge in, stayed with him. And it was Kevin Moran coming in from behind. Good pressure and good defending there by Waterford.
Stephen O'Keefe coming out to his own 45 to take the free for Waterford. Kelly in after it. Prendergast there as well. They've got 2 goals to show for their efforts, Waterford, but a third will have to wait as Keane Dillon takes control for Clare. Very composed play by the young fullback and a great clearance as well. Rick Walsh is down underneath that. Carney just had to get rid of it. Philip Mahoney across there. Podge Collins brings a huge amount of work rate to the half-forward line. It's come for Jonathan Clancy, though, from Clare Castle. Poor ball. Liam Lawler got it up after the second attempt, and that's sailed out of play.
Good old-fashioned full-back play there. Get it out of my area.
That's
anyway.
it, yeah. Away from me,
anywhere will
please.
do. But he has it. Liam Lawler's been very solid. Just watching there. He's letting the ball break in behind him well, and mightn't be the fastest in the world, but reading the game well.
Now Podge Collins racing across to get to that. 2 added minutes, we are told, at the end of the first half. Stephen Malumphey of Waterford.
Brilliant play by Brick Walsh there again. He's the best man, I think, in the country to get a ball in his hand under pressure.
Well, that's kept in play. No, it isn't by Gavin O'Brien. He did his best there in 77 and 78. And today all about the championship and about a place in the Munster final. It came off the stick of Podge Collins. Now it's Nicky O'Connell, fouled on the way through. And he's spotted the free man, who is John Conlon, the Clare goal scorer, and Conlon sends that very high, but accurately over the bar, and there is 3 between them.
It was a good score, but I think the free was, you know, it was a fairly straightforward free for Nicky O'Connell, so complicated, but a good score by John Conlon.
Not a great hand pass, Enda Barrett saving his teammates' blushes. That's kept in play by Podge Collins. Now Conor McGrath running at Stephen Daniels. Lets it off to John Conlon. Conlon turned back into traffic. Hardly had time to look at the post, but what a wonderful score from John Conlon. Such a threat he brings. And that's the last act of the first half, and that will give Clare a boost going in at half-time. Conlon got their goal. Kelly with the penalty, question marks over whether it should have been awarded to Waterford after 13.
Waterford are edging it, but there isn't an awful lot in it. It could go either way.
Yeah, it can go either way, I'm sure. I mean, Clare will be very happy to get maybe the last 2 scores there just before half-time, because it looked at one stage that maybe the Waterford would pull away, maybe create 1 or 2 more goal-scoring chances and will put away. I mean, Clare will be happy in the dressing room right at half-time. They're the younger team. They said they've put an awful lot into that 35 minutes. They've maybe ran a lot of the Waterford backs all over the field with their changing of positions as well, and they maybe expect that they will have the fresher legs coming into the last 10 minutes, you know. One thing that maybe disappoints me from a Clare perspective is this game plan of the short passing game that we mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Grand to get yourself out of trouble, grand to find a man in space, but sometimes there's just too much of this over elaboration, and times when they have the likes of Conor McGrath, Jonathan Clancy, Colin Ryan, very fast nippy forwards, and if you're a fast nippy forward, what you need is quick ball, and at times it's just been slow to get in there, and when they've got it, they've looked threatening enough inside. But I suppose when you come back to Waterford, you look at their big players. I mean, they started slowly. Brick Walsh came into the game at number 6. John Milan, when he went out to a wing forward, maybe switched with Owen Kelly into full forward, he suddenly got hold of it up front for the forwards, and they've ploughed on in that first half period, and probably will be disappointed that they left Clare back into it there in the last couple of minutes.
I suppose from a Clare point of view as well, though, Cyril, you know, it took them that 35 minutes maybe for them to find their feet a little bit as well.
It would, yeah, but I suppose one more aspect for Clare is that the high ball going in on top of the defence is causing trouble. Now there's two, you know, they have 2 goals already. It's panicking there. Now once they get the ball, they're able to work it out. But like when it goes in high, it's definitely causing trouble. Now Clare would be very fit, but the game they're playing, you have to be very fit for it because you do a lot of running. Waterford playing far more direct, but they'll be happy with the 2 points for half time because instead of going in 4 down, they're only going in 2 down, and it's still anyone's game.
Now let's look at one of those high balls that went into the Clare defence. It got them in trouble. What should it have done?
Well, it did get him in trouble afterwards. Look, and here we see it's a free from Richie Foley right in, you know, and everybody's looking at this, and the referee, you see the clear picture of the referee, right? And yeah, when you see that picture here, yes, you see that you'd say the referee is correct, right? And he's awarded a penalty. But if we can see it again, right, and we see the next clip of it, here you see, look, it's Owen Kelly has fouled Cian Dillon first, and then there's a pull back of the helmet, right? So there should be no free. And what's more worrying here, Michael, is here you have 2 umpires, and we're talking about Hawkeye and the GA to see whether the ball goes over the bar into the goal.
That's Noel Connors, the change on that Waterford team. So then it's time to head back to the commentary box to rejoin Darren Maloney and Michael Duignan.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, you mentioned Noel Connors, and Cyril alluded to it there. He did play for the club recently in Waterford, and they are concerned about his fitness. We'll see how he lasts over the course of the next 35 minutes or so as Waterford go on the attack straight away. Here's John Milan looking for the first point of the second half. Good pick from Milan, and the point as well. Quite a start to the second half for Milan and Waterford inside 20 seconds.
Great first time ball, and I thought he picked it off the ground, but no, it was just bouncing there. Great pick up and over the bar.
So a goal between them again. Gone a little dark around Semple Stadium. Here's Jonathan Clancy of Clare, leaving the defenders in his wake. Needs to shorten the stick or get rid of the ball, whatever. He didn't succeed with either, and Noel Connors gets his first touch in this Munster semi-final. Richie Foley able to clear it for Waterford. James McInerney was underneath that. Seamus Prendergast, the 32-year-old, making a real nuisance of himself. 2 Claremen around him. He's got to get rid of it now, and couldn't do it. Brendan Bugler, that's good defending from Clare. And Bugler down on his knees. Unusual looking hand pass, not illegal though according to the referee. Conor Cooney able to clear for Clare. Not a great clearance though. Malumphey onto it, 65 metres out. In low, great stick work, and now it's Maurice Shanahan. Open road in front of Shanahan, shortens the stick and pops it over the bar. Very good start to the second half for Waterford. Clare's attack down the other end came to nothing with Jonathan Clancy, and Waterford do this. Yeah,
very good score. Great ball by Stephen Malumphey, but Owen Kelly's flick was lovely there to Maurice Shanahan going through, and a lovely simple point, and Waterford started the second half very, very well.
Conor McGrath drifting out of his corner. Stephen Daniels of Waterford there with him. Did well to get rid of it. Nicky O'Connell hasn't had too many opportunities to run at Waterford. 45 metres out, O'Connell didn't catch it particularly well. Stephen O'Keefe catching practice for the Waterford goalkeeper, and keeps it low as he sends it forward to Owen Kelly. A goal and a point he scored in the first half. The goal from the penalty that came up off the face mask of Gavin O'Brien. Seamus Prendergast of Waterford. Lots of space over on the far side, but racing back is Conor Cooney of Clare, getting there in front of Shane Welsh. Cooney. Was he pushed or did he fall? Well, the referee has given the free to Waterford. He touched the ball on the ground. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that one again, but you see Conor Cooney going out here now, and good chasing by Shane Welsh. I think if he did, it was probably accidental because he wasn't watching. He was gone, the ball was gone past him. He did touch it there, yeah.
Now Maurice Shanahan scored 3 points in the first half. 2 of them were from frees, and you remember that issue he had with his technique. You spotted, Michael, from a place ball. It was a bit closer in maybe around the same distance as this. Shanahan for Waterford. Having an issue again.
Yeah, it was a difficult free from off out in the wing, but Owen Kelly is a good option. He's very, very experienced, and his track record is very good from free, so maybe there might be a change there.
And that's towards Enda Barrett, who caught some good ball for Clare in the first half of their half-forward line. Podge, Collins, it's not, it's Jonathan Clancy. Clancy steadies down. That's a very fine score. Clare's first of the second half from Jonathan Clancy. Certainly not the tallest player in the Clare attack.
Oh, very good score though. He picked it up near the sideline, and that's the time to carry the ball. When you get a little bit of room in front of you there, shorten the grip, and lovely score.
A goal, the deficit again. James McInerney across for Clare. Prendergast, big physical battle, collision points between the two of those. Patrick Collins was there as well, and that was just that half a second too slow. The shot from Shane Welsh was never going to get through, but Waterford still have it. Richie Foley blocked down by John Conlon, getting through some amount of work for Clare. All over the park it appears, and that's a free to Clare. Issue with the hand pass, I think, and there's some verbals as well, and referee James McGrath moves the ball forward and closer to goal, and that carries on with Conlon and Foley. He's moved it forward again.
No, I think it's calling back Richie Foley out to Buckingham. James McGrath just saw there was a little bit of nudging from both of them going on. I think it was actually Conlon ran into him first, and he didn't see that, and I think better off to let that go. There was very little in there, just running back into the positions, and
so a problem.
And James McGrath didn't see that.
Fair bit packed into the first 5 minutes of this second half as Nicky O'Connell takes the free, and it was that little bit closer, but he did his stuff and slotted that over, and we've got two between them. Two apiece since the second half restarted.
Yeah, good recovery from Clare after Waterford scoring the first 2 points. Jonathan Clancy, and then that great free there from Nicky O'Connell. Responded very, very well.
Michael Ryan with a bit of a smile on his face. Big day for him, as it is for Davy Fitzgerald of Clare. Kevin Moran fluffed his sideline cut. Stephen Malumphey. Well, the linesman has his flag up.
Anyway, it's going the other way now.
Yeah. We look at that again. Kevin Moran, it was his fluffed sideline cut, which ultimately ended up in a sideline cut for Clare. Now it's Seamus Prendergast of Waterford. Very tight in there, pulls on it first time, it just scoots forward. Ran past Donal O'Donovan, and Donovan's back in. Here's Conor Cooney for Clare. And listen to the roar of the Clare supporters as Cooney came out the back with the ball. Now Patrick O'Connor. Low to Conor McGrath. McGrath out in front of Stephen Daniels. Needs some help, he's got a free in though. Daniels fouled it. And Nicky O'Connell is trotting across to take for Clare. Nicky O'Connell has achieved an awful lot in his young hurling career, still only 21. Beautiful free-taking style, and I've done it to him again. Sorry. He will be disappointed with himself, no question about it. Stop laughing.
We're normally better off to wait till it goes over the bar, Dara.
Thanks, I'll add that in. I should have learned at this stage, shouldn't I? James McInerney may be about to come off for Clare. Liam Markham ready to come in. Malumphey trying to break that up. Here's McInerney. Will this be his last act of this Munster semi-final? Oh, making that far too difficult for himself. And John Milan has it for Waterford. Didn't catch the shot at all well. Easy for Pat Kelly in the Clare goal. Clearance is good in terms of distance, but only Kevin Moran back there of Waterford. He returns the ball to Brendan Bugler of Clare. Leaves Prendergast in his wake. Now it's John Conlon. Real buzz around the place every time he gets near the ball. Conor McGrath, speaking of players who buzz around, he's so quick, steadies down McGrath. And will I wait? Yes, I will. That has gone over. That was beautiful for Conor McGrath. His third point of this Munster semi-final.
Yeah, that's a great score there. I think it epitomised the game. You know, there was a few mistakes in that passage of play, but overall it's very enjoyable. There's great endeavour from both teams. They're trying really, really hard, and you know, it's not perfect hurling, but it's very, very competitive, and not in it now. You know, it's going to be 10 minutes into the second half, and it's anybody's game.
Liam Markham, 21 years of age, another one of those under 21s from 2009. He's in for McInerney. Played instead of McInerney in the league semi-final. Jonathan Clancy of Clare, they're just a point behind. Daniels under pressure as he gets across for Waterford. Liam Lawler had to improvise and did. Stephen Malumphy. Shanahan is through the middle, put the hand up. Shane Welsh was there around him. Gavin O'Brien, John Milan is there too, but that's well defended by Patrick O'Connor and others for Clare. All about the clearance now. Donald O'Donovan, that was a bit on the wild side from Gavin O'Brien. The challenge poor from the Waterford forward, and the referee in to have a word. A cheap yellow to get, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it stops the flow of the game too. You know, I think Clare were you know, they broke away with the ball. It was going to be a long clearance there. Maybe go back and book the man afterwards, but you know, it's a proper decision. But maybe it breaks up the game.
Clare have scored the last 3 points without reply. It's almost 8 minutes since Waterford last scored, and another scrappy passage of play, and it's gone against Waterford, and a chance. Colin Ryan with the free for Clare. Level for the first time. 4 in a row for Clare, and now we've
6 or 7 minutes, as you say, 4 points in a row there. Waterford not winning the same amount of ball that they were.
Oh, brilliant from Kevin Moran, and he fell awkwardly. I think he's going to be okay. This is well worth another look. The catch.
Yeah, great catch there, and just came down, and in fairness to James McGrath, stopped the game very quickly, which is the right thing to do.
Yeah. Now Waterford are going to make a substitution. Gavin O'Brien, who's just got that yellow card, we understand is going to go off. Paul O'Brien, there he is, 22. And forward for forward. A Waterford line ball eventually.
Davy arguing the case. That's unusual.
Well, the ball has gone into the Clare dugout. Eventually it's returned to Kevin Moran, who will cut this for Waterford. Still they wait to make their substitution. They made a lightning start to the second half with 2 unanswered points in the first 2 minutes. Clare with the last 4 in a row. The side's level and Thurles for the first time, and that wasn't too clever from John Milan on Donald O'Donovan, I think it is. Or is it Nicky O'Connell down, clutching his helmet? And well, while the Clare physios work away with Nicky O'Connell, Gavin O'Brien has gone off, and there is Paul O'Brien.
Is he ready?
So it's like for like. O'Brien is Paul O'Brien gone in closest to goal. Donald O'Donovan is marking him. Nicky O'Connell is okay to continue for Clare, and Pa Kelly out to take the free. Clare thinking of making another substitution, but we follow the play with Kelly. Oh, that's superb from Kelly, all the way over from just inside his own 45-metre line. Brilliant from Pa Kelly, and Clare hit the front.
Yeah, that was a great strike. It was over all the way, and I think Davy will be certainly pleased with that. It was a trademark of his own game, his long striking, and I'd say if Clare get a penalty, but judging by that strike, that's the man that'll be taking it. There's John Milan. You know, I think eyes were on the ball, but still it was a flick across, and it caught Nicky O'Connell in the head, and proper yellow card.
Waterford need to stem the tide a little. Here's Paul O'Brien wearing number 22, as you can see, a nippy forward, and he's drawn the foul and the free. gets some congratulations from Stephen Malumphey, who raced across to him. It was good persistence by Paul O'Brien.
Yeah, great first ball that he got, and he went for the gap. You know, he knew what he was doing. He was looking to draw the free, and that's good forward play.
Fergal Lynch will be in. 13 and a half minutes since Waterford last scored. And it's time for Maurice Shanahan to step up to the plate again for Waterford.
Yeah, very important free now. They haven't scored, as you said, for a long time, and they need this one.
Behind in this match for the first time in quite a while. Maurice Shanahan for Waterford makes no mistake. Fergal Lynch, by the way, has been told to continue his warm-up routine. Stephen Daniels of Waterford. Very crowded. Malumphey pulls on it first time. Shane Welsh was out hassling, harrowing. Trying to win it back again. Another bunch of players together, and Paul O'Brien has only been on the field about 2 minutes and he's drawn 2 frees. Shanahan converted the first one and he'll fancy this one again, but O'Brien doing what he's been told to do and causing havoc for the Clare defence.
Yeah, absolutely, Dara, and he did very well there. John Milan was gone inside, but I think if he tried to pass it, he would have been closed down, and he just, again, cleverly, he took the tackle and he was fouled, and that's a great start for Paul O'Brien coming in. Very valuable, winning 2 frees, and Waterford hadn't scored for 13 or 14 minutes. Great play by O'Brien.
For 2 in a row and to edge Waterford back in front. Maurice Shanahan again, happy with the contact and the final result. 2-12 to 1-14.
Yeah, if you watch Paul O'Brien here, did well. He's trying to go forward with the ball, and soft enough maybe, but he was definitely pushing the back, and he obviously, it's great to have a sub coming on with that attitude.
Brilliant again from Kevin Moran. He's been caught in the face, it appears. He just seemed to stop, waiting for a whistle from the referee, which wasn't too clever, but Kevin Moran now goes down looking for some treatment. Was he caught with a stray hand, or was it the stick? But Moran, for the second time in the space of 5 minutes, brilliant fielding from Kevin Moran. But what happened next?
Yeah, there definitely was no foul. It was just coming down. He got a knock on the head.
Clare with the sideline cut. It was taken by Enda Barrett. Conor McGrath. Daniels there. He's left him behind, and McGrath just shortens the stick and tries to pop it over, but he's put it wide, and that's a bad miss from Conor McGrath. Clare, and a forward of his. And those wides come back to haunt either Clare or Waterford. Great take by Seamus Prendergast. Now John Milan, yellow card against him, remember. Pops it back to Prendergast. Malumphey is screaming for it, and he's got it. And who's marking? Stephen Malumphey, left all alone. Easy score from Stephen Malumphey, but there was a bit of a systems failure in there from Clare.
There was indeed, but that's, you can see the experience there. What a catch by Seamus Prendergast, who was having a super game. A little pass over and back with John Milan, and then a lovely ball from Prendergast into Malumphey, and Malumphey has been everywhere. He's having a super game in the middle of the field, and a great score for Waterford. And this is a crucial period now, Dara. Both teams have had their good spells in the second half, but really over the next 5 or 6 minutes now, it's there for the taking, and whoever wants it the most now, it's an old cliche in the GA, but you can just see it there. It's on a knife edge at the moment, and maybe a goal now could decide it.
Fergal Lynch was married recently, was in New York on his honeymoon. Vital experience. He's now the oldest player on the Clare team at the minute, 29 years of age. All the youngsters they have. John Milan at 31 years of age. That's gone a little too low for Paul O'Brien. Left it after him. Conor Cooney pulled on that, but it's a Waterford line ball. They've got the last 3 in a row. Remember those 2 kind of cheap enough frees for Shanahan. Malumphey's point from play, and Clare under pressure again.
Yeah, I think a feature of the game has been the use of John Milan. He's come out wing forward on just sparingly now and again. He's caught 2 puckouts. He caught that one back in his own half-back line, and they're using his pace. He still has great pace, and they're using that very, very cleverly.
Paul O'Brien didn't cut that particularly well. Seamus Prendergast went fencing after it. Here's Shane Welsh. Got that clever goal in the first half. Paul O'Brien has it again, jinking one way, then the other, but left too much of an opportunity for the defenders. It was Donal O'Donovan who went in after that. He was last to touch it. Waterford will have the sideline cut. in the build-up to this game and all the talk about Davy Fitzgerald and all that stuff, but it was so hard to pick a favourite, wasn't it, depending on who you spoke to or who?
Well, it was, absolutely. Like, I just gave Waterford a nod on the basis that they had more experience and Clare hadn't done it yet, but at the same time it's very, very hard to say.
They haven't won a Munster Championship match since 2008. Some decent wins in the qualifiers, and there's Milan again, and he punches the air. Gets a big reaction out of the Waterford supporters here in Thurles, as you can see. Just right place, right time, and quality all the way through this guy.
Yeah, he makes it look so simple, and you know, in his championship career he's averaged in around 4 points a game from play, 4 to 5 points a game, which is incredible, and here he is again today with 3 points on the board already.
Having been a point behind, now Waterford have restored that 3-point lead. Again, it's Fergal Lynch trying to burst through, and he's been penalised. Lynch is a big strong man, but there's plenty of big strong men in the Waterford team too. Noel Connors was over having a word with Fergal Lynch. It will be a Waterford ball anyway. Richie Foley will take the free.
Yeah, that's a feature, you know, the modern game. Players are so fit. When you come down with the ball, you've only half your job done, and trying to get away, you know, the tackling is so intense, and referees haven't much choice but to, you know, they have to make a call on it one way or the other, and free given against them.
Which is taken by Richie Foley, and he struck that well. He struck that brilliantly, Richie Foley. Not as far out as Pa Kelly's effort from inside his own 45-metre line, but from right on halfway with the angle even further out. Richie Foley gives them a more respectable cushion now. 4 points the difference between Clare and Waterford. We're over the 3-quarter mark in the contest. Clare had to work supremely hard to get back on terms and then to move in front, but they haven't scored in 8 minutes. And their defence under pressure again. Donal O'Donovan, bit of a wild pull in on him. Owen Kelly not happy with the referee's decision, but it's a free to Clare. Again, another small flashpoint. It's been moved forward for Verbals too.
Well, I actually think it was a wild pull, and Owen Kelly does that from time to time, but he actually did get the ball there, I think, and it might have been by accident. But if you watch here now, he did swing across, but he got the ball.
Yeah.
And you know, you might think it's a wild pull, but if you hit the ball, you hit the ball, and I think that's a wrong decision.
Well, while you were watching that replay, John Milan was back in and around, just trying to calm things down. Michael Ryan giving words of encouragement to Thomas Ryan, who's going to come in, another young man who is going to come in for Waterford. But it was John Milan trying to calm things down. Nicky O'Connell with the free for Clare, which they need, and he slotted that over. Stems the tide, their first point in 9 minutes. Shane Welsh gone off. Thomas Ryan is on wearing 26. And now Clare. You heard the reaction of the Clare followers. Well, they're about to bring Derek Honan in, but that now is Shane Amori. Podge Collins gone off Clare, gone off the Clare team. 22 off, Shane Amori on. And here come Clare with Jonathan Clancy. Oh, that's wonderful from Jonathan Clancy. Waterford just switched off. 2 in a row for Clare.
Yeah, Jonathan Clancy does that so well. Onto the breaking ball, right out the middle of the field, and a super score. That's his 3rd point from play. And that's the way the game has gone. It's been up and down, you know, Waterford getting a bit of a foothold, Clare coming back, and that's the way the game has gone from the start.
Shane Amori, by the way, a star from the Clare Miners over the last 2 years. Here's Maurice Shanahan. Drew the foul. Clare furious with the referee, but Maurice Shanahan hit the deck, and this is how. It's Fergal Lynch behind him.
Yeah, I didn't see very much in that. You know, he looked to go to the ground very, very easily, and I think most decisions you'll see will be challenged, you know, by either team, but I think that Morris didn't look to be going anywhere fast, and I'm not saying he dived, but he seemed to lose his feet and Softy's free.
Well, he's managed to compose himself to take this free inside the last 10 minutes of the year's first Munster hurling semi-final. At the moment it's Waterford, but not by much, and this to increase their advantage, and Boris Shanahan has done just that. Goal between them once more. Dean Toomey will be in any minute for Waterford. Conor McGrath leaving that behind him. Liam Markham over there as well, with Dean Toomey wearing number 21